Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on a video of mine. And today we're going to close out the All Winners series. I'm very excited to close it out. Tomorrow, we're going to have the best female player from every Survivor season video coming out. I'm going to go through every season 1 through 40 and give you my best goddess of the season, whatever you want to call these female players. I think it's a really good idea, and I filmed it, and I feel like it's going to be a really, really good video. Check that out. But for now, let's close out this winners ranking. We have 31 through 40, what some would call new school, what some would call the advantage era. This is where the game got a lot more complicated, and I'm really, really excited to rank these seasons. So to start out, we have Jeremy. I'm going to put Jeremy behind Todd. I feel like Jeremy is very, very good socially and physically and strategically, and I think that's a real threat. His implementation of the meat shield strategy really helped him stay afloat in this season. And on top of that, he was able to stay in the majority for almost every single vote on a season where the majority did not say the same the entire season. So he was able to keep fluid just like the game was going, and was able to keep around bigger targets like Joe and like Spencer and all these other bigger targets that he could shield himself. And then he was able to cut his allies that he needed to cut at certain times, or save his allies that he needed to save. And then last but not least, convincing Spencer that Spencer had a chance against Jeremy and Final Tribal was absolutely genius of him. I think overall it caps off a really, really impressive game by him. Next up, we have Michelle. Michelle played a very good social game. Um, my issue with Michelle is that she has no control over the game as far as strategical say in the decisions, as to who goes home. Um, my other issue is she got saved not once but twice. So everyone knows about the Joe medevac and how that basically saved her because she was going to go out at 5. But the real one that in my opinion is more severe is according to the people on the beauty tribe, she was going to be the first boot if they hadn't won that challenge, which to me shows that she was not playing the game early on as hard as she was later on, and even later on she still wasn't playing that hard, and for that reason I do have to put her at mm, I'll put her ahead of Mike, but oh no, there we go. Mid to high C tier. Again, it's also because of rank inflation, where there's a lot of A and B, and so it becomes hard to put somebody in the A and B when there's already a lot of people there. And I do not think that her game is at the level of a Yule or a Cochran or a Tyson to slip into the B category. And for that reason, I do have to put her in C category. Next up, we have Adam from Millennials versus Gen X. Adam's gonna go. I'll put him right there. Um, my issue with Adam is his countless blunders throughout the game. But my positives with Adam is the fact that he's able to take the only two people who he beats probably in the entire season, other than maybe Sunday. Maybe he beats Sunday. But other than that, I do not think that he can beat anyone in that post merge. I mean, he could beat Michelle, the merge boot. Besides that, I'm really not looking at much of a chance for Adam, and really that's where I have to knock him. But the fact that he did take the two biggest goats of this season, and Hannah and Ken, to the end, is good on him, because he knew that he couldn't beat David. He knew that he couldn't beat Zeke. He knew that he couldn't beat Jay. He knows this, and so he's self aware enough to take the two biggest goats of the season with him, and for that reason, I do have to put respect in his name. Sarah is gonna go up in A tier. I'm putting her game behind Parvati's. I'm very, very impressed with Sarah. I just finished a Game Changers rewatch, and just she does what Tony does in Cagayan, just a little less impressive. And if you're able to you can get close to Tony in Cagayan levels of dominance, I have to give you the credit that you deserve. I mean, she was able to flip back and forth while still maintaining bonds, and then at the end, she was able to not brag about it like a Russell does, but instead own it, but not to a point where it's showing some sort of hubris. And so she's able to keep the jury's respect while betraying them. And the Sierra boot in specific, she was able to get the advantage out of Sierra, get Sierra's vote at the end, and then and also have her voted out because she was a threat to her. And so for that reason, I really do respect Sierra's game. Ben's gonna go right next to Mike. I'll give more respect to Ben's game because he was in a very big power position before he had to go Ben Bomb after Ben Bomb, and more of a power position than Mike was in. And so I do have to give Ben credit there, but just the way that he got to the end, finding idol after idol, and then really, I could care less about all the Ben Bombs. It's when production introduces a twist that should have been disclosed to the players at the start of the season. That's when I have an issue with it, because if the players had known, then I really would not have an issue with him using fire to get to the end. But because Chrissy, Devin, and Ryan had no idea, they could never plan, and they would have tried to get him out a lot earlier if that was the case. Wendell's going to go top of B tier. Again, just a very, very dominant win. Not as strategically savvy as Dom, but probably more socially savvy than Dom was. If Dom had won, he'd probably be at the bottom of S tier for me. But because Wendell wins, he's probably at the top of B or maybe bottom of A. And so that's why I do have to put Wendell in the B category. Nick. I'm gonna put Nick around where like Cochran is. I feel like he plays a pretty similar game to a Cochran. I feel like where Cochran's not necessarily on the top of everybody, but Nick is able to manage his threat level where he only really gets targeted once, just like how Cochran was only really like talked about like once or twice. And he's able to slip like get out of that target. And it's pretty impressive. And on top of that, he's able to take a goat to the end in Angelina, and then someone who's not necessarily a goat but cannot beat him in Mike. And I think he really does win, especially with a jury of all or not all Goliaths, but of a good, but probably a good amount of Goliaths. The fact that he's able to win over two Goliaths just shows that his game is very impressive. Chris Underwood. I'll put him at top of B tier, or sorry, D tier, because he did more than Amber and Sandra and Fabio and Jenna and Bob in the 9 days he was in the game, 8 days, whatever. But he was in the game for 8 days. It's 8 days. It's 8 days. It's 8 days. Come on, it's 8 days. There's not much. Listen. He played harder in those 8 days than these other 5 people below him, but he only played for those 8 days. On top of that, it's not like he was just inserted in the game with the 8 days left. No, he got voted out. He got voted out pre-merge. I have to put you in D tier. I have to. Moving on. Tommy. Tommy's gonna go. Oh, not there. Tommy's gonna go behind Wendell. Again, with Tommy, it's just very impressive. He has a strategical and social dominance in this season. I feel like he was. I feel like the only issue I have with him is the fact that he was willing to take Lauren to the end, and that's an issue because Lauren probably beats him. But luckily he doesn't get to the end. Doesn't get to the end with Lauren, not necessarily by his own doing, but because he doesn't win the final mini challenge. But I think overall he was able to dominate the season without advantages, without idols, and without Ben bombs or immunity challenges. He just won purely on his social dominance, and for that reason, I do have to give him the credit. But it wasn't a very flashy or impressive win. So it's not going to fly up to the S tier, maybe A tier, but I do think he's high B tier, low A tier on a good day. And Tony's going to go in front of Tom. So I think his Winners at War game is better than his Kagyan game. He's in control of just about every single vote. He beats anybody in the post merge maybe not Jeremy, maybe, but I think this jury still respects Tony's game the most out of anybody in the post merge. He beats literally anybody. All he has to do is get to the end. And for that reason, I have to respect him. Whereas in Tony does not beat like certain people in the post merge, like a Spencer or like a Tasha. And so for that reason, I do have to give Tony's Winners at War game more respect than Tony's Kagyan game. He has his strong ally in Sarah, who literally is willing to take Tony to the end so that she can lose, because she would lose. Whereas in Kagyan, even Trish knew that Tony was going to beat her. What's it called? So I feel like overall, Tony has a more impressive game with this. So like with playing the same type of game, just a lot less cutthroat and a lot less like a lot less like outwardly devious. Whereas in Kagiani played very like in your face, flashy. That really could have blown up in his face if certain things hadn't gone right and he hadn't gotten lucky. I feel like this win involved less luck and more just overall skill and dominance of the game, socially and strategically and physically, with the immunity challenge wins. If you like my channel, please subscribe, please like, please comment. Any of that stuff is amazing. Thank you so much for watching. 81% of you guys who are watching this video aren't subscribed. Let's change that. It's easy and it's free. And if that's it, thank you for watching my channel.